Here's another jolly tune, and it's a tongue twister, too. Oh, the green grass grew all around, all around, all the green grass grew all around. There's a hole in the ground and the green grass grew all around, oh, the green grass grew all around. There's a tree in the hole and the hole in the ground and the green grass grew all around, green grass grew all around. There's a limb on a tree and a tree in the hole and a hole in the ground and the green grass grew all around, the green grass grew all around. There's a nest on a limb and a limb on a tree and a tree in the hole and a hole in the ground and the green grass grew all around, the green grass grew all around. There's a bird in the nest and a nest on a limb and a limb on a tree and a tree in a hole in the ground and the green grass grew all around, the green grass grew all around.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. On his farm he had a duck, E-I-E-I-O. Quack, quack here, quack, quack there, here a quack, there a quack, everywhere quack, quack. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. On his farm he had a chick, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. On this farm he had a turkey, E-I-E-I-O. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Quack, quack here, quack, quack there, here a quack, there a quack, everywhere quack, quack. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O.
Friends together in all kinds of weather. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. We can have a lot of fun. Being alone is never fun. Can't have fun without no one. But gee, when all your friends are here, they bring happiness and cheer. Let all the housetops gaily ring as our happy song we sing. Let's everybody sing. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. We're all friends together in all kinds of weather. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. We can have a lot of fun.
Here he comes.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
For she's a cute little girlie, for she's a cute little girlie. Her hair is shiny and curly, that nobody can deny, that nobody can deny. And I'm gonna tell you why, for she's a lovable girlie, mommy and daddy's best girlie. And she's a cute little girlie, which nobody can deny.
They are lovable children, yes they are lovable children, adorable lovable children, which nobody can deny,
which nobody can deny.
and we're gonna tell you why. They're such adorable children, mommy and daddy's best children, and no one could want better children, which nobody can deny. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. We're gonna have a party, a party, a party. We're gonna have a party, a happy birthday party. My birthday comes just once a year. I wish I could have two, so everyone could sing again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday!
Poor Cinderella worked and slaved all day. She never had time to have any fun. She never had time to play. Her two stepsisters were mean to her, and so was her stepmother too. That's why Cinderella was always lonesome and blue.
One day the king of the land decided to have a big ball so that his only son, the prince, might find a suitable bride. Everyone went to the ball except Cinderella, and as she sat weeping by the hearth, a beautiful fairy godmother came from out of nowhere and said, "How would you like to go to the dance, my little Cinderella?" "Oh, I'd love to," replied Cinderella, "but I cannot go, for I have no clothes but these tattered rags I am wearing." With that, the fairy godmother touched Cinderella with a magic wand, and presto! Cinderella was dressed in the most beautiful gown anyone could ever see. All at once, the fairy godmother touched the pumpkin with her magic wand and turned it into a beautiful coach. Then she touched 4 mice, and they became 4 beautiful white horses. Now, Cinderella, remember this. At 12 o'clock midnight, the spell will be broken, and all the beautiful things which you have now will turn into what they were before. So leave the ball before midnight. Then, off to the ball went Cinderella.
Cinderella was the fairest of them all, the fairest of them all. At the ball, the prince fell in love with Cinderella. At the ball, the prince fell in love with Cinderella. At the ball.
Cinderella and the prince were so happy together that Cinderella forgot all about the time, when all at once the clock struck 12. Suddenly, Cinderella remembered that the spell would be broken, so she ran out of the ballroom, and in her haste, lost one of her glass slippers. The prince ran after her, but she had vanished. Coach, horses, and all. The next day, the prince made a complete search of all the homes for his lovely princess-to-be. At last he came to Cinderella's house and asked the 2 ugly sisters to try the slipper, but they couldn't make it fit no matter how they pulled and tugged. In desperation, the prince said, "Is there no one else here who might try the slipper?" And as Cinderella came into the room, the sisters laughed, but the slipper fitted her perfectly, and the prince knew that at last he had found the one he loved, and soon they would be married.
Cinderella found her Prince Charming, the one she waited for. They lived happily for a lifetime. Who could ask for more? Cinderella, Cinderella, Cinderella.
One little, 2 little, 3 little Indians, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little Indians, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little Indians, 10 little Indian boys. 10 little, 9 little, 8 little Indians, 7 little, 6 little, 5 little Indians, 4 little, 3 little, 2 little Indians, 1 little Indian boy. Wonder what happened to 10 little Indians, this doesn't make much sense. I saw them just a while ago, just sitting on a fence. They all just laughed and they waved all the feathers as I was passing on. But Now there's no one there at all. I wonder where they've gone.
I know what I'll do. I'll look behind the fence. I'll go over here to the very end. And I'll peek around the corner. Aha! There they are! What are you doing, you bad little Indians? Looks like you're eating, you bad little Indians. What are you eating, bad little Indians? Looks like apple pie. Where did you get it? Now don't try to run away, too late to hide it. I see it anyway, now that you ate it. Someone will have to pay 10 little Indian boys.
Indians, 4 little, 5 little, 6 little Indians, 7 little, 8 little, 9 little Indians, 10 little Indian boys.
Red Riding Hood, Red Riding Hood, this is the story of Little Red Riding Hood.
In the kingdom of far-off places with mother and kitty cat lived Red Riding Hood, who the neighbors named after her red hat. One day her mommy called to her,
Hurry, for heaven's sake, and go to Granny in the woods and take her this basket of cake.
She put her crimson hat on, her mommy had this to say,
Go straight along to Grandma's, let no one lead you astray.
So through the woods she rambled on, hop and a skip along. She sang to all the flowers and birds, sing this little song.
I'm off to see my grandmother who lies abed so ill. If anything can make her well, I bet these goodies will.
Just then, a big wolf stepped into the path right in front of Little Red Riding Hood.
Hello, little girl, and how are you? May I be of any service? I know these woods so very well. Shucks, I know where every curve is.
I'm on my way to Granny's house, my basket's full of cakes. So if you will excuse me, sir, I'll go for goodness sake.
And the bad wolf, with a last look at the basket of goodies, went to a shortcut that he knew, and in 3 leaps was at Grandmother's house, where he tied up poor Granny and put her in the closet. And then, with a whish and a whoosh, he jumped into bed and pulled the covers up high. He'd no sooner covered himself when Red Riding Hood arrived.
Oh, Grandmother, what big eyes you have!
The better to see you with, my dear.
And Grandmother, what big ears you have!
The better to hear you with, my dear.
And oh, Grandmother, what big teeth you have!
The better to eat those goodies with, my dear.
And so saying, the wolf jumped out of bed. But as he did, his claws got caught on the sheets, which after all aren't made for wolves, and he got all tangled up and fell on his head, kerplunk. Red Riding Hood ran outside and called a woodsman who was working nearby, and while the woodsman tied the wolf up, Red Riding Hood let poor Granny out of the closet and helped her back to bed. And then they just sat there, waiting for a policeman to come to jail. And while they were waiting, Granny opened the basket of goodies, and they ate and sang and sang and ate.
Crunch, crunch, we caught the fat old wolf. Crunch, crunch, you, this is good. Crunch, crunch, the story's at an end.
This was the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Jack and the Beanstalk. Now Jack was just
A silly boy who somehow or another
exchanged his cow.
for 6 small beans, then ran home to his mother.
She threw the beans,
Into the yard and sent Jack off to bed.
and then she sat.
Right down and cried until her eyes were red.
Then Jack awoke at crack of dawn. Right there before his eyes, a big tremendous beanstalk grew, way up into the skies.
Then Jack ran out.
Into the yard as fast could be.
He climbed
the stock. Up to the top, now guess what he could see?
Jack saw a castle close at hand. He knocked upon the door. The girl who answered easily was his height and 10 feet more. Jack said,
Please, ma'am, I'd like some food if even just one bite.
She said,
Be quick, before the giant comes home to spend the night.
but Jack had barely settled down to eat a piece of bread. The giant came home. Jack had to hide, and then the giant said,
3, 5, 4, fum, it seems I smell a boy.
It's not a boy. I've cooked a pig. Your dinner you'll enjoy.
and the giant ate his dinner and fell asleep playing with his purse full of money. As soon as he was asleep, Jack crept out from under the bed and quickly recognized the purse as one that had been stolen from his father many years before. So he took the purse and ran helter-skelter to the beanstalk and slid all the way down.
Jack's mother was glad to see him back. She told him about a gold hen the bad giant stole some years ago. Jack went up the beanstalk again. That night when the giant's meal was served, Jack hid himself back of some kegs. The giant then said, "Oh, golden hen, lay dozens of bright golden eggs."
The giant got tired and was snoring, and Jack, walking softly, tiptoed, swept up the gold hen and went running. As he squeezed her, she started to crow. Jack knew that the giant heard the hen, and that soon he'd be wide awake. Jack slid down the beanstalk, took an axe. The beanstalk fell down with a shake.
The giant fell to the ground with a horrible sound and kept falling through the night, 'cause he fell in a hole and just like a mole, with the deep he fell from sight.
Now Mother and Jack had their hen back. They spent their life happy and gay. And the giant's wife, one hears, spent the next 20 years
Just singing and dancing each day.
A penny for a spool, a penny for a needle. That's the way the money goes. Pop goes the weasel. All around the cobbler's bench, the monkey changed the weasel. The monkey thought 'twas all in fun. Pop goes the weasel. Potatoes for an Irishman takes the doctor for the measles. A fiddler always for a dance. Pop goes the weasel. The pudding for a dustman till a workman for a chisel. The tune that everybody sings. Pop goes the weasel. They wouldn't put the rug so it's true. The rain was sad and evil. We cannot get our toddy now. Pop goes the weasel. The butcher when he charges for meat sticks in the bone and gristle. But that's the
tasket, a green and yellow basket. I wrote a letter to my mommy. On the way I dropped it, I dropped it, I dropped it, and on the way I dropped it.
A kitty, a purry, furry kitty. I took my kitty to my house, and on the way I lost it, I lost it, I lost it, and on the way I lost it.
A doggy, a shaggy, waggy doggy. I lent my doggy to a friend. He took it home and lost it. He lost it, he lost it, and on the way he lost it. Doggy, a most important letter. I really mustn't be so careless from now on.
I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. I can change my handle and my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle, here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here is my spout. When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out. Everybody listen now, we'll count right up to 10. Just as soon as we get there, we'll count back down again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now wasn't that easy and wasn't that fun? But listen to us, the fun's only begun. Let's go out to a farm, and as we listen, we'll hear all of the animals counting so clear. First, Bossy the cow counting to 1. Oh, she's sure having fun. Then Penny the hen counting to 2. Oh, look, she laid an egg too. And there's Bowser the dog counting to 3. Says Bowser with glee. And there's Softy the sheep counting to 4. Baa, 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 baa. Not a single baa more. And Polly the parrot will count up to 5. Oh, that's right. Sakes alive.
And now all together, let's all join the throng, as with all the animals we count along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, The bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain, and what do you think he saw? He saw another mountain, he saw another mountain, he saw another mountain, and what do you think he did? He climbed the other mountain, he climbed the other mountain, he climbed the other mountain, and what do you think he saw? He saw another mountain, a great big rocky mountain. He stopped to drink at a fountain before he started up.
The water was fresh and chilly, he drank so fast willy-nilly. The noise he made sounded silly, but he didn't care at all.
A sound was heard by a hunter who aimed his gun at old Grunter. He didn't shoot at old Grunter, the bear just walked away. The man came over the mountain, the man came over the mountain, the man came over the mountain, and what do you think he saw? He saw another mountain, he also saw a fountain, but nowhere on that mountain did the hunter see that bear.
The hunter leaned over the fountain, the bear came over the mountain. The hunter was never counting, not seeing the bear back there.
The hunter went up the mountain, the bear chased him up the mountain, and they are still up the mountain, the hunter and the bear. A-hunting we will go, a-hunting we will go. Hi-ho the merry-o, a-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go.
A-hunting we will go, we'll try to catch a crow. Oh no, why catch a crow? A-hunting we will go. Why ever catch a crow? Up at the crack of dawn, we'll spur our horses on. Sun's bright, we'll hunt till night, a-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go.
Tried to catch a fox who runs along the rocks. Dogs race a merry chase, a-hunting we will go. A-hunting we will go. Now old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers three. And every fiddler had a fine fiddle, and every fiddler had a fine fiddle. And a very fine fiddle had he, and a very fine fiddle had he. For old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers three. For old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers three. There's a fairy and a clown away up in the blue. If you're nice, she'll bless you twice and come and say to you, come on along to fairyland where all your friends are gathered. You'll find them all there waiting just for you. There's Jack and Jill going up the hill, and Peter Pumpkin Eater. In fairyland your fairy tales come true.
Mother Goose will bake a cake for everyone to see.
Holiday in fairyland makes fairyland the place to be. There's old King Cole, that merry old soul, with fiddlers three so friendly. Come on along to fairyland with me. Simple Simon and the pieman, too.
They're standing near the house that Jack built. See them playing hopscotch. They're calling you to come and join them too.
Robin Hood and Little John are wrestling near the tree.
And Jack Horner's in the corner with Miss Moffat on his knee.
There's Hiawatha with his tom-tom standing near the teepee. Come on along to Fairyland with me. Come on along to Fairyland with me. Come on along to Fairyland with me.
Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where is the boy who looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack fast asleep. The rabbits and chicks said, what shall we do? Somebody must wake up our little boy blue. They asked the dad, he said, no, not I. For if I do, he'll surely cry. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. Where is the boy who looks after the sheep? He's under the haystack fast asleep.
In a far-off land there lived a man 6 inches tall. If you didn't look at him just right, he wasn't there at all. He could make his dinner meal on what we'd call a crumb, and far and wide they all called him Tom Thumb. Tom Thumb, Tom Thumb, just 6 inches tall. Tom Thumb, hardly there at all.
Well, it was most marvelous to behold, boys and girls. A man with a real body and a real head, with 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, and 2 tiny ears, who was only 6 inches tall. Why, that's only about half as long as Daddy's foot. And, well, you can imagine the problems that he could have. Like one day, why, poor Tom fell into a bowl of soup. And if he hadn't been lucky enough to grab a piece of floating celery, he just might have drowned. And then there was the day that he fell asleep in the stable. And by gum, old Biddy the hen wandered in, and not even seeing Tom sleeping there, why, she sat down. And, as you can well imagine, Tom almost suffocated. That's what happens when we can't breathe. Imagine suffocated by a little old hen. And do you know why? Here's why.
Tom Thumb, just 6 inches tall. Tom Thumb, hardly there at all.
But one day, Tom had his chance to be a hero. When a big giant stole the princess from the royal castle, it was Tom who made his way up to the giant's castle, walked in, and naturally the giant couldn't see him. And so he walked up to the princess, cut the cords that the giant had tied her with, and then silently they stole out of the giant's castle while the giant slept. Which just goes to show you that it isn't the biggest man who comes out on top every time, is it? And all through the land, the people sang,
Tom Thumb, just 6 inches tall. Tom Thumb, biggest of them all.
Ever sit by your window and wonder about what stars are? What holds them up? or how far away they are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the earth so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. When the blazing sun is gone, when he nothing shines upon, then you show your little light. Twinkle, twinkle all the night. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Then the traveler in the dark thanks you for your tiny spark. He couldn't see which way to go if you did not twinkle so. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. Wish I may, I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight. Starlight.
In the dark blue sky you keep, while you through my window peep, and you never shut your eye till the sun is in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Now I know stars are just wishes come true.